Let's practice this dot notation one more time and really focus on the idea of an attribute and how to access our message label. So this time what we're going to be doing is we're going to be updating the text property of our message label, which is the text we're going to display so we don't display label when we load up our storyboard here. So we're going to say message label, and this time we're going to be setting the value of the text. Now we could just hard code this. We could say something like hello world. And for those of you who don't know, hello world is a pretty common thing to display when you're starting out in a new computer programming language. So when we press our button here, we could display hello world. And we see that what we're doing here is we're just creating a string. And a string is just a bunch of characters, right? And we basically are able to define what characters we want to set here by putting them inside of quotes. Now, if you're coming from Objective-C, maybe you did like at quotes. But in Swift, all we need is 2 quotes, and whatever characters are inside equals a whole string. And for our text property, we have to set it equal to a string. So with attributes for our UI elements, we always have to set it equal to the proper type. So originally we had hidden, which was a bool. So this was true or false. Now we have text, and this is a string. So we have to set it equal to a series of characters. Now, this isn't our real functionality that we want, right? We actually want to display what's ever in the enter name text field, or excuse me, enter message text field. So we want to update our enter message text field's text property and set that equal to our message label.text. Now, let's go ahead and do that. We are going to go and type in enter message text field, and we're going to do .text. I'm just using that autocomplete because it's recognizing this variable name up here. So when I started typing in enter message text field, I could just hit enter or tab, and that would just kind of fill it in for me. And then text fields also have a text property, right? So message label has a text property. This is how we're able to update the information in or on our label here. And we can access the information that we enter in our message text field and access that by saying, okay, give me the text from here, right? Because an enter message text field could have a different background color. We could access that by saying background color. It could have a different alignment. So whatever type we use here, right, we have to use the same type on the right side. Now, why couldn't we write enter message text field .text is equal to message label.text? Well, this is a valid line of code, but this is the opposite functionality that we're looking for. We're going to say update the text attribute of our message label text field with whatever's in our message label. And this would basically just update our enter message text field to show label, right? Because that's the default text we set up for our label here, instead of updating the label to reflect whatever's in the text field, right? So order really matters here. This is a little bit confusing if you think about algebra. We always do the setting on the left side, and we always do the getting, right? We can think about this as we're accessing or getting the value that's currently in the text field. So whatever the user enters into the text field is going to be the string that's returned here, or the value of the attribute for our enter message text field. So let's try running this, and hopefully we'll be able to see this and see it visually. Hopefully it'll explain what's going on in our code here. Let's go over to message, and right now our enter a message text field's text property is 2 quotes, right? We haven't entered any text in here. We only have some placeholder text, and that's not the same thing. So we can click in and we can start typing something like, hey, class. And notice I have to type this in because we did that thing with the keyboard. And when we press send mail now, we're going to see that this is going to display in our label here, right? Because we've been able to grab the information from our text field here, and we're accessing the text attribute, and we're going to update our message label here. Now, we could also update this. We could say something like hello world. And let's press the send mail button again, and this time we see that it updates. So each time we press this button, it's going to unhide the label. So it's already hidden. We're not really unhiding. We're just saying that, okay, the first time we do this, it's initially going to be hidden, and then after that, you're just going to keep unhiding it. So if it's already unhidden, it'll just stay unhidden. But then we're going to be able to update the label with whatever we change the text field to. So if we don't change the text field and we press this again, we're going to see it's just going to leave it as hello world.